Okay, I think we should start. What do you say, Tamás?
Yeah, definitely. I think we are ready to go, and I think people might just join later on.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so hello everyone. I have a disclaimer to make. I am not Imre Hild. We are just using his Zoom account. I am from InnoMaker Partners. We are helping the OVC, the Open Uni Venture Capital, who is the main organizer of this whole V4-Ukraine Talent Fusion program. We are helping them with the communication management. And I think today's topic is very interesting and is good learning opportunity for everyone, because sales is always one of the most important functions of a company, as it brings in the money and accounts for everyone's wages and everything. So I, for myself, am really excited about today's topic, and I will give the floor to Tamás.
Yeah, thank you very much, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining the session today again. So my name is Tamás Szekér, and yeah, today we're gonna discuss, I believe, a really important, really relevant topic that could help all of you to succeed in sales, just specifically about B2B sales and B2B sales prospecting, how you can find and reach out to the right prospects in order to convert to increase the conversion rates. According to statistics, 42% of startups fail because there's no market need for the products or services that they are offering in the market. So based on purely on these statistics, half of this class, so almost 50% of these people here that joining the session, you guys will fail because no one will eventually buy the product and services in the market that you are offering. And this is a big issue. One of the main root cause of this the lack of is basically failing to understand the client, the prospect, exactly the personas, what they want, and act as a solution. I'm here today to help you to basically to become in the 58% that eventually succeeds in sales prospecting. My background is specifically in the B2B sales and business development space. I worked in related positions at startups, accelerators, and also different small and medium enterprises. And I'm also a co-founder and managing partner of iScale Hub, where we specifically work with governments and universities and corporates and help them with innovation programs and help these startups to grow. Basically, I also have different companies, including startups and consulting companies, to increase the conversion rates when it comes to reaching out to prospects and generating leads for their companies. And this is normally an example of the conversion rates that I normally generate: 80% plus open rates, 20 to 30% click rates and response rates. And today I'm here to help you in sharing all those techniques that I've learned during these years that help me to increase the conversion rates at this level. Also, with iScale Hub, with my company, we support startups in 4 different topics. On one hand, we do advisory, we do innovation management and advisory, and we help startups in 3 main different topics that I'm going to disclose in the next slide. And we also support startups in digital solutions, developing softwares, strengthening their cybersecurity measures, also helping them with legal guidance and also with prototyping. When it comes to advisory, we are specialists in 4 main topics, basically. One is B2B sales and business development, where we help startups how to acquire their first clients and how to basically scale their sales processes. The second is fundraising, including both private funding and public funding. The third one is international expansion, how you can enter the international markets and scale your business there. And last but not least, legal and tech-related topics, where we have our own in-house experts who can help you during your journey. We've already lived in 9 different countries together with my business partner and discovered more than 15 startup ecosystems, also supported more than 1,000 startups. So I'm looking to share all those kind of best practices that I've seen in different continents and also in different ecosystems, that what worked, what didn't work, and what could be useful for your own business to skyrocket your sales process. So basically the aim of this workshop today, on one hand, I'd like to give you a structured approach for how you can initiate business opportunities. I also want to give you a guidance for how you can design a winning outreach campaign, including cold emails, templates, follow-up emails. And I also want to share some personal good practices with you, tools I'm personally using, also the templates for cold outreach, some of these things. And let's make this session as interactive as possible, because I'm pretty sure that you guys also have some pretty good experiences in this space that you maybe want to share with the others here. And just a question, some of you have already shared that what you guys are hoping to get out of this session today. Is there anything else maybe that you are hoping to get? These are basically the topics that I'm going to cover in today's session. But if there is anything else that I left out or something that you want to hear about, just let me know. I don't know if you want to add anything to these topics. So first of all, we'll discuss basically lead generation versus sales prospecting. Then we're going to focus on the problems in sales prospecting. What are the key challenges that normally salespeople face? Then I'm going to show you a step-by-step process on how you can succeed in sales prospecting. Again, if you have any questions or something you want to add, just feel free to speak up or interrupt me. Happy to discuss your questions further. All right, so if you guys are ready, then let's get started. And first of all, let's discuss and let's try to define what exactly sales prospecting is and how it differs from lead generation. And my first question is that how do you personally describe a prospect and a lead? And what do you think that the main differences are between these two terms? What do you think about that? Any ideas, Shimi, maybe? I see that you are sending some stuff in the chat. Lead is already someone who has some interest in the business. Yes, that's right, Shimi. Thank you very much for sharing. And what about the prospect? Well, let me help you out with that. So as Shimi already mentioned, and it's absolutely right, lead is an individual or business who has already shown some interest in your business. What does it mean? They have already, let's say, clicked on your social media posts, like your post, maybe they clicked on your website, they downloaded a free material, for example, they subscribe for your newsletter, right? So these are normally the leads, or maybe they're already interested in your service and we scheduled a call with them. So these are businesses or individuals that we call leads, while prospects normally are individuals or businesses that we as a sales team identify and pre-qualify and say that, yeah, these could be interesting companies for us who could possibly purchase from us, whose problems we can possibly solve. But they might not actually have heard about our business yet, or maybe they are not even interested in what we're offering. So what we need to do is to reach out to them and basically to build up all the rapport and credibility around our company and basically raise awareness of what we do. So this is basically the two main difference between sales prospecting and lead generation. Lead generation is mainly done led by the marketing departments. Normally you have a lead magnet. You put it on the social media platforms or on the website. This could be a free downloaded material, but for example, a pop-up on the website, and people click on it and they get to the next stage, right? And this is how you engage with them. By sales prospecting, normally you qualify people. You say that, yeah, we're gonna reach out to these kind of companies because we believe they are relevant for what we are offering. And it's basically the process of how we can find and reach out to customers and nurture the relationship with them. So how to basically summarize what sales prospecting is basically a set of actions aimed at initiating new business opportunities by identifying potential customers and nurturing them. And as you can see in the whole sales process, prospecting is normally the very first part, which is followed by qualification, sales pitch, handling objections, closing the deal, and it's repeated in a cycle. So we again start with prospecting, etc., etc. But having said that, sales prospecting is actually not easy. Normally, this is the most challenging part of the whole sales process. Not gonna lie, according to HubSpot, they did a research and they found that 40% of salespeople found that sales prospecting is actually the most challenging part of the entire sales process. This was followed by closing and then qualifying. What do you think that what caused these statistics? So why do you think that most salespeople actually find prospecting even more challenging than closing or even qualifying? Why is it so challenging for you in your everyday work? You can just, if you want, speak up or send a message in the chat section so we can discuss this together. What are your personal experiences? Why is it so challenging in your work?
I would suggest that prospecting can be so difficult because it requires already such a deep knowledge of the customer needs. And so you're going into you have to conduct a lot of market research, understand the solutions you're offering and what they need and how to integrate your solutions into their business. So it requires already a lot of homework and understanding.
So a lot of research, right? A lot of manual work. Can you do it every day and to make the business sustainable and to basically fill the pipeline? It's pretty challenging. So exactly. I see that Shimi also wrote a message. It's hard to identify a good source of prospects. So yes, exactly. So how we can identify those prospects, who could be the ideal fits for what we are offering? Anything else that you found in your work? There's so many out there, right? What about the conversion rate? So how many people do you have to reach out to in order to get one meeting, for example? 100, 150, Shimi said. Yeah, so a lot of people, right? So do you have enough energy and time to do this every day? Because if you have your own business, you have to do it every day in order to fill your pipeline and to have constant deal flow and close the deals. So absolutely. So based on my experience, I've just summarized some of this by working with startups and personally also doing sales prospecting every day. And I think some of the main challenges that we salespeople see in this space, one is the lack of prospecting motivation. Again, do we have enough time and energy to do this every day? Can we stay motivated even after not being able to convert the numbers? Can you find the right salespeople in your team who can be hungry, right? Even after 2 weeks, 3 weeks of just prospecting, it's pretty difficult. Second thing is poor targeting. You didn't mention this, but I'm pretty sure that all of you have the experience of receiving emails that you have nothing to do with, right? So you are like receiving emails that, hey guys, I'm not even the decision maker in this, or we are not even in this space. So yeah, what can I do with this? So it's poor targeting. You don't even review the website of the company or at least just a few information. But also if you actually know the company, but you reach out to the wrong decision maker or to lower level, like to junior people, for example, who are not in the position of signing the contract for you. This is also the result of poor targeting. The third thing is the insufficient outreach, and salespeople give up too early. It's again, normally, most salespeople, around 75%, actually stop after one email. Do you actually send follow-up emails to your prospects? Do you actually call them? Do you actually use different platforms and channels to reach out to them? This is also one of the main challenges and issues here. And last but not least, as you already mentioned, and I absolutely agree that the lack of research and customization, indeed, and it's again, the lack of research will eventually lead to poor targeting as well. And you will end up having GDPR related problems as well. We will discuss it a bit later, but you also have to make sure to remain GDPR compliant and also to incorporate some sort of like customization, personalization related elements in your email. So these are the main challenges. Of course, there are many more. It's just some of those that I personally face with. And the next question is then, okay, so we understand the problems, we know what the challenges are. how can we solve these problems, and how we can actually succeed in sales prospecting. Well, what I basically do is we're gonna go through 5 different steps, a step-by-step process of how I personally do sales prospecting that eventually converts and brings me around 80% open rates and 20-30% response rates when it comes to reaching out to prospects. First of all, we're gonna discuss how we can identify the right clients. Second, how we can find the right decision maker, the ideal point of contacts. Then we're gonna find the email addresses. Then we're going to discuss how we can write an effective cold email. And last but not least, we're going to discuss how we can follow up our cold email. So how we can ensure the increase of the conversion rates by sending the right follow-up emails. So these are the 5-step process. And let's get first started with the first one, identifying the right clients. So first of all, here, my main recommendations are the following. If you guys are just starting and basically you don't have any clients, the best thing that you can do is to do some trials, some free demos, some tests, right? That you do some services or give products for free just for your potential clients to try it, right? Because in order to gain early traction, you need to validate this in the market. And if this product or service actually solves the problem, these kind of companies want to use your product and services and eventually want to pay for it, right? So try to give away some services for free in the beginning in order to get some good names, especially if you can focus on some very good names that are well known in the industry, and you can get some case studies and testimonials from them. That can actually help you in the prospecting phase when you actually formulate your emails or you reach out on LinkedIn, because you can already mention these names that you have them on board. On the other side, if you already have some clients on board, well, here the idea is to turn them to be part of your sales force. This is my biggest message here. What do I mean by that? If you really make them happy by providing them a solution to their problems, they will be actually happy to give you testimonials, referrals, case studies, right? That you can actually use in your brochure, on your website, for example, on your social media platforms, and also in your sales prospecting emails. So these are like huge sales and marketing tools that you can already use for free because your clients want to help you. And they will also refer you to other companies that you can potentially support and you can make more money, right? Actually, more than 90% of your clients would be happy to support you if they are happy, if they are satisfied with your service. You just maybe don't ask them, right? You just don't ask for testimonials. Another thing that I normally do is the approaching other departments or maybe other operations of the same company. Previously, in one of my positions when I did innovation management and corporate innovation programs, we worked with Visa, for example, Visa in Germany, and you can just reach out to them that, hey guys, could you just maybe introduce us to other operations of Visa in other countries, and maybe you can just get introduced to Visa in Spain, Visa in Turkey, etc., etc. So this is how you can also, within one big company, how you can get to different other operations. Of course, if these are if this is an international company. On the other side, what I also normally do is to really define who the ideal client is. You need to make sure you have to understand the company size in the B2B space. What is the company size? Am I targeting small and medium enterprises, startups, large corporates? Try to define the size itself, including the annual revenue size as well, the employee count, etc., and also the sector vertical and also the geographic of this company as much as possible. And also the behavior patterns and preferences, and try to compare them if you already have an existing client, that to those preferences. Maybe they are more price sensitive compared to your clients in another country. So just try to make sure you understand the main preferences and behavior patterns in this space. What I also do in this very first stage is using the band qualification. Have you guys heard about this? And if yes, how would you describe what band is, the band qualification? Any ideas? Anyone using band? I will help you out then. So BAND, what we basically do here, B stands for budget, A stands for authority, N stands for need, and T stands for time. And what I basically do here is that whenever I have a lead, I need to qualify them, that they actually have the money, they can pay for my service, right? I'm talking to the right person. So this is the authority stage. They actually have a need, so they have a challenge or a problem that they want to solve, and it's timely for them. They want to do it now, so there's a sense of urgency. They want to do it now and not later. And how you can make sure that you actually find good prospects that have some of these elements checked already is, on one hand, to check the news articles and social media posts of your prospects. Let's say if you are targeting, let's say, Fortune 500 companies, you maybe want to follow some of those, and they continuously share some updates. Maybe they want to do something that they communicate where you can possibly help them. And I also follow influencers and decision makers of these companies, because these guys also share a lot of updates on their LinkedIn profile, for example, that what they are up to, what they need, what they will be working on, etc. So I'm already talking to the right authority that seems like have a budget because they have a need, a problem that they want to solve, and seems like it's also timely for them. So that's why following these decision makers is key in order to ensure that you actually reach out to pretty much qualified prospects. And of course, try to think about the people and check your LinkedIn network before actually start building a list. That maybe on social media or LinkedIn, you already have some people that you talked via email, you met in an event that could be good prospects for you, for your service. This is whenever we started a new branch, like legal branch or engineering branch at iScale Hub, I always check my network and see and so that who could possibly help us or who could be good prospects for us by using my own network here. And when discussing network and social media, of course, we cannot just avoid LinkedIn here. Especially in the B2B space, when you do prospecting, especially if you do it via email, there are so many spam emails and scam emails out there that most probably your prospects will visit, they do their own due diligence, they visit your website, and they might also visit your LinkedIn profile. So you have to make sure that you have an appealing and right LinkedIn profile that they can visit and review. And here, if you are still not using it, maybe you should change for the creator mode. This is also something that I'm using. People can automatically follow you instead of connecting with you. Of course, they can also send you a connection request, but LinkedIn will show that how many people actually following you. You can also get verified. It's also, you don't necessarily have to have a creator mode, but be sure to have a verified profile on LinkedIn. And I also normally design my LinkedIn profile in a way that serves as a sales channel or a sales funnel. Because I mentioned here that they can already immediately book a call with me if they want, right? So this is the awareness stage. They see my LinkedIn profile and I want to do some call to actions there. They can immediately go and schedule a call with me. So we get to the next stage in the sales funnel. Or what I'm also doing here, you can also put some featured elements in your profile. This also actually increases the credibility, you know, when people visit your profile. And you can also use some call to actions here. For example, when we had a startup scouting program or activity, I put the link here. Startups who visited my profile could just basically register for this Taiwanese business trip. You can also book a call with me. You can also watch one of my workshops, for example. So make sure to design your LinkedIn profile not for the recruiters and not for employment related purposes, but for making clients, right? Because you guys have to do sales and you have to have a LinkedIn profile that can generate leads for you. So this is, I think, very important here, that you have to use it as a sales channel, as a sales funnel. What are the different platforms that I normally find leads, prospects? First of all, when I was mainly targeting Fortune 500, Global 500 companies regarding corporate innovation programs, I used a lot the Fortune 500, the Fortune list, basically. And here, if you define the revenue size, for example, the employee count, the industries, now I filter for the financial industry, for example, you will get all the names here, so you can build your list accordingly. Another platform that I'm using is specifically for finding startups and also VCs is Crunchbase. If you guys are not there, be there, because all the accelerators, VCs, startup scouters, and many other companies, corporates are using this platform. So you have to make sure that your company is also there to be found. And there's a search bar here, and normally add the location, like United Kingdom, and for example, then the industry, quantum computing. And I've also set the employee count. Let's say I'm looking to find companies with employee count 11 to 50, and I found 4 companies in the UK that are in the quantum computing space and that are in certain stages, like funded date, last funding type, etc., etc. And last but not least, another platform I'm using is Apollo.io. I don't know how many of you actually know this platform, but they have a freemium tool and they give away a lot of information for free. I'm going to show you like what are those information. But here, if I go to search and companies, let's say I want to find companies in the investment management space in Poland. I immediately got more than 500 results, including Wolf Summit, PFR Ventures, and many others. So I can just make sure to fill my list based on this. So I have a question to you, because now we reached to the end of the first stage, identification of the right companies. So what do you think that before building a list of cold prospects, what is it advisable to do? Which of these options would you choose? Do you think the answer is A, B, C, D, or E? What could be the right answer here?
Well, if we're looking to just make more deals, it looks like both A and B would be effective in leveraging the network you've already built.
Yes. Yes, indeed. As I mentioned, basically, you have to make sure that you turn your existing clients to be part of your sales force, right? It's very, very important. And you also have to make sure that how you can, and think about how you can cross-sell products and services to other operations of your clients, of your existing clients. So whenever you do prospecting, just think of your existing clients and, hey guys, go back, ask for testimonials, case studies, referrals, because this is the easiest way for you to build your business once you have clients ready. Okay, so this was about the first stage. And let's continue now with how we can find the ideal point of contact, the decision makers within those companies that we listed. Here, the main thing is, and I personally believe that the main root cause of unproductive sales prospecting is the lack of understanding of who could be your ideal clients. And in order to solve this problem, I highly, highly encourage all of you to design user personas. This is actually a template for user personas. And basically, here we can just set the demographic details, motivation, brands, influencers, preferred channels, etc., etc. So we try to envision that who could be an ideal person, right? That if I'm reaching out to innovation managers at corporates, for example, I try to envision that, okay, so a person could be, I don't know, living in the city, for example, that would be the age, the gender, etc., etc. And from a sales and marketing point of view, for us, the most important and relevant information are the goals and frustrations. So try to imagine what could be the targets and KPIs of this person that they need to reach in their job. What does it mean? If they reach these goals, they will immediately get bonus, right? Maybe salary raise, and maybe promotion. So they will have a successful career in that specific company, or maybe they might also go to another company, a better position, right? So they will have a better life if they reach these goals. But they normally have frustrations, right? That maybe they want to do sales, but it's not converting for them. They don't know which are the channels they are using. The prospects are not replying to them. So there might be many frustrations. And my main message here is that try to list these frustrations, because as a negative consequence, if they not solve these frustrations now, what will be the negative consequences, right? They might lose their job, they won't be able to fill the KPIs, their targets, so they won't get salary raise. What's more, they might actually lose their job. So these are like big problems for them. So be sure to position your product and service as a solution here, and try to position it as a solution more like as a painkiller and not as a vitamin, right? It's very important that you don't want to just give them something which is actually not necessarily solving a problem, but just gives them some extra value. But try to really focus on these frustrations and try to use your product as a painkiller. What many salespeople do, they push the product and the service, but you're not solving anything then, right? You are just trying to hit your KPIs and targets. You don't really care about the customer. Focus on the customer, try to find out what the goals and frustrations are, and position at the end, position the product or service as a solution to those problems, as a painkiller. When listing these user personas, of course, you can also do it, just sit together with your partner and think about it and go through all of these things. But actually, ChatGPT can also help you very much when designing user personas. I'm not using ChatGPT for all of the tasks in sales prospecting, because I think writing emails with ChatGPT, all the prospects will know that you used AI and it was like a, AI generated email. So I don't really support that, but you can, for internal purposes, you can use ChatGPT to come up with some ideas. For example, when we started our engineering branch, I wanted to understand that who could be the best people to approach in aerospace companies, for example. And I got some recommendations like engineering and R&D managers, manufacturing managers, even like ChatGPT included some things that they may be interested in engineering solutions such as prototyping and generative design to help bring new products to markets, or for engine development to improve performance of existing products. So this is super useful information for me. And then I also wanted to understand that what could be the biggest pain points that engineering solutions are addressing. And like I got some suggestions like improving product design and development, increasing efficiency and productivity, reducing costs. So these are all important elements that I actually can incorporate in my emails, right? When positioning these kind of solutions. So what are the platforms that I'm personally using to find the decision makers? If you guys are using LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it's in LinkedIn Premium only, unfortunately, but they have a very good search tool, so you can very easily find people here. For example, if I want to find digital marketing people at Apple in the United Kingdom, I added these keywords here. I got 7 results, including digital marketing programs manager, head of digital marketing, Apple Online Store, EMEA, etc. So if I'm a startup in the retail tech space, these guys could be pretty good personas for me and prospects that I can reach out to. Of course, if you don't want to pay for premium, you can still use LinkedIn for free, the freemium version. And what I'm recommending you to do is to use the Boolean search. What does it mean? It basically, you are using keywords like and, or, not to define, limit or broaden your search results. So for example, if I want to find the CEO of Wolf Summit, the tech conference in the CE region, what I'm going to do here is that I use a quotation mark, Wolf Summit, so it will be handled as like one expression or one word, Wolf Summit, and I use and, again, in a bracelet, in a quotation mark, CEO or Chief Executive Officer, and I got 5 results. And if I filter for the company here, then I got 2 results, Michael and Tamás. And actually, we see that Michael is the CEO, Tamás is a VP of sales at Wolf Summit. And I also got Tamás because in the past, if you go to his LinkedIn profile, he was a CEO at another company. And that's why we got his profile also when it comes to looking for the keyword CEO. But if I go to Michael's profile, I see that, yeah, Michael, Wolf Summit Chief Executive Officer, so I can just add him to my list based on this. And you can also use Apollo, Apollo.io, the platform I already mentioned to you, to find prospects for free, actually. So if you go and you register a profile, you go to search companies. Again, I added investment management as industry, then company location Poland. I got more than 500 results, including Wolf Summit. And let's say if I open Wolf Summit, and this is the most interesting thing here, because we get some description, but we see that employees 20 find leads. And if I click on that, I'm here to see that there are actually 12 people listed within this company in different roles like VP of Sales, Head of Marketing, Event Manager, Head of Startups, Investor Relations Manager, etc., etc. That could be good prospects to you. Again, if you defined the user persona, you know who exactly you have to look for if you visit the company, the employees within this company. But there's also an alternative way to find people here. On one hand, so instead of clicking on companies, you click on people. And let's say we define that we want to find the CEO as title at Wolf Summit as the company and location Poland. And I immediately found Michael, Chief Executive Officer at Wolf Summit. So this is like some of the ways I find people very easily, and you can just add them to the list to related sheet. So I have my next question to you guys. What do you think is the first step in this second stage in order to find the ideal point of contacts? Is it about finding mutual connections for warm introductions, creating user personas, or using Apollo to build a list of prospects? What do you think would be the first step here? Yeah, thanks, Shimi. Yeah, indeed, ChatGPT is also good for grammar check. Yeah, that's also something I'm using. Is it grammatically correct? Is there any, fine-tunements that you can do? And Shimi said B, so creating user personas. Agree, yes. So whenever you start looking for the ideal decision makers, make sure that you design first the user persona types. You really understand who exactly you have to reach out to, because you can end up making the mistake of reaching out to irrelevant people, and then you will have also issues when it comes to GDPR and many other stuff that we're going to discuss later. Okay, so this stage, I think, is one of the most important stage in the whole sales prospecting process. All right, so yeah, the answer is B. Okay, so now we got to the stage that we have the companies listed, and then we have the key decision makers listed. Here the next stage comes, and we need to find the email addresses. And well, this could be actually pretty much challenging, but I'm actually using a couple of platforms, couple of tools where you can find email addresses very easily. These are Apollo, Hunter, Overloop, and emailchecker.net. These are just some of the examples that I'm using. Of course, there are many others. Just feel free to check them. And basically, Apollo, if you go back to our platform, we clicked on Michael's profile, who is the CEO of Wolf Summit. And if I click on access email address, I immediately found mike@wolfsummit.com. And it's a verified email. So it's green here. It's a verified email. It exists. If you send an email to Michael, he will receive it. Apollo actually also has a Chrome extension. So if you go to Michael's profile on LinkedIn, you can just, again, activate this, click on find email address, and I immediately found mike@wolfsummit.com. And again, it's green, so it exists. It's a verified email. There's also another platform I'm using. It's called hunter.io. And for example, if I add the domain name here, apple.com, and click on find email address, it basically, the platform analyzed more than 3,000 email addresses and found that the most common pattern is first initial of the first name, last name @apple.com. So if you go back and think of Richard Hollige's email address, we can kind of like safely guess what could be his email address. but how can I make sure and check whether this email address is actually valid? Well, I'm using emailchecker.net for this purpose specifically. So if we take, for example, Mike's email address, it was mike@wolfsummit.com, and click on check, the result is okay, this email address is valid. And there are also some variations to test. So when you have to put together the email addresses, normally it's the first name at company.com, last name, first.last name, first name, last name, first initial of the first name, then last name, etc., etc. With big corporates, normally it's this one or this one. With startups, I think the most common is this one, the first name. But I also saw that first initial of the first name, first initial of the last name at company.com. So there could be many, many variations here. And then we got to Overloop. It's also another platform I'm using, but it only has a premium only package. They don't have a freemium tool, unfortunately. But if you use Overloop, and again, they have a Chrome extension, you go to Michael's LinkedIn profile, and it will basically analyze 3 different things: the first name, last name, and the organization domain that they will find it here. But the thing is that I didn't get a result here. And the main reason was because if you remember what was Michael's email, it was Mike. I had to change the first name manually to Mike. And then I clicked on access email, save, and I got mike@wolfsummit.com with 100% confidence code. So this email address exists, so I can reach out to Michael. And my message here is that sometimes prospects use their nickname or some alternative name in order to hide from salespeople, or maybe it's easier for them. They got more used to that name, for example. Also, just think of like Elizabeth Liz, or Gergő Greg, Thomas Tom, James Jim, etc., etc. Just take also these things into consideration when it comes to thinking about the email address. And after I save this email in Overloop, this is the profile that I see, Michael's profile on Overloop. So this contact was created by me from extension. These are some information about Mike. And the main reason why I love using Overloop is that when you add the prospects, let's say from a spreadsheet, for example, without email addresses, you add them to the platform, and you can do bulk search of email addresses. So you highlight all of these prospects, and the platform can find it to you, because you can just end up spending so much time finding email addresses, but the platform can find each and every email addresses for you. It costs like 1 credit for you, but you can save a lot of time. Normally, my experience is that the search results for email addresses works better with Apollo than with Overloop. I normally Overloop finds normally, I would say, 70% of the email addresses of people, but not all of them are verified. So I normally get a lot of like emails that this email just doesn't work, while with Apollo you are pretty safe. So normally the recommendations that you get from Apollo, those are, I would say, 90-95% they are safe. So you can save some time with Overloop, but if you really want to go, if you want to spend a bit more time but find more like better email addresses, then use Apollo for that. And here's my recommendation that, okay, so if you're looking for putting together building a list of people and email addresses, here's a recommendation that how you can build a list of hundreds of prospects within just a few minutes, including verified emails, phone numbers, etc., by using Apollo. And the key here is that you know and that you've defined the user personas. So let's say that I want to find people in the innovation space. So the job title will be innovation, management level, founder, partner, head, director, location, United Kingdom, and industry, higher education. So I'm mainly targeting universities and other higher education related institutes. And here we go. I got 300 results on Apollo: innovation director, director of innovation, head of innovation, and different stuff, universities and other institutes, which are relevant for me, right? When it comes to innovation programs. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna click on export, and here I select export as CSV, and I click export verified emails only. So I don't need maybe people who don't have verified emails. I don't need people with verified emails. Confirm, and then you will get a list of prospects, first name, last name, country, position, organization, verified email addresses, LinkedIn profiles, phone numbers, even like the personal phone numbers, but that one could only be accessed in a premium version, but all those details that you actually need in prospecting. And you can do this within a few minutes, basically. Another tip that I'm also doing on Apollo is creating personas. This is something that we discussed already, and Apollo has these filters and persona tab where you can just define, for example, we have a digital transformation service, and one of our segments is retail and production. So I just put the job titles here, the management level, also the industries and keywords and the location, and I got almost 300 results, and this is continuously updated by Apollo. So I can save the persona, and it's continuously updated. So I can continuously add them to the sales sequence, to an automated email. So I can just reduce the amount of manual work that I have to do when it comes to searching for new prospects. So these were just like 2 tips on how you can really, really shorten the time and of this lot of manual work when it comes to finding prospects. So we got to the end of the 3rd stage. So my question is the following. So the email address of the prospect you found is not verified. So this is a big issue. What will you do next? What do you think? What could be the best option here? Shimi said A, reviewing and changing the first name of the prospect. Yes. And why A, Shimi? Any other ideas, guys?
The name is usually the thing that's most likely to be wrong, whether it's the first name, last name, or some combination of initial. We're probably pretty confident in the company name, right? So yeah, it's just probably the first name that needs adjustment, would be my guess.
Yeah, first name, definitely, right? If you can just think of first like Michael, Mike. So that could be one issue. What about B, reviewing and changing the domain name? Has this ever happened to you? It normally happens when you are targeting startups that have been acquired by another company, and then they change the domain name, right? And then you also have to take this into consideration. Maybe those people using the old domain or now the new domain, so you have to think this over. What about changing the email address format, like first name at or first name dot last name at domain, etc. This could also happen. So I would personally try all of the above actions, all of the 3 actions. And then you go back to email checker.net, you check whether the email address is valid, and then you can make sure that everything is fine. All right. Guys, do you have any questions before we continue to the next stage, writing cold emails? No questions? Perfect. Okay. So my next question is, if you have no questions, I do have a question. What do you think? Because now when it comes to writing emails, we need to take into consideration in the B2B space that how to reach out to them and what our main tasks will be. So who can tell me that what is the main difference between B2B and B2C in sales? Let me have them. B2B and B2C, right? When it comes to B2C, normally we are targeting individuals, right? Individuals, families, etc. So we need to build brand awareness across the market. And we are normally focused on a large scale market that has a short selling cycle. Just imagine that maybe people go to the supermarket, maybe they just want to buy, I don't know, bread, but they end up buying a lot of other stuff. Why? Because we were focusing on triggering emotions and purchase decisions, etc. So the main goal here is to create impulse and urge to buy. So this is the main technique here in B2C. But when it comes to B2B, we need to do stuff slightly differently. In B2B, we are focusing on a niche market where there is normally a longer selling cycle. I don't know, guys, if you are reaching out to corporates, companies, SMEs, governments, but normally the selling cycle is like way, way longer than in B2C. And we need to build relationships with our target audience here and share our expertise because they are more rationally driven. They are still driven by emotions, by the way, but they still justify it a lot with logic. So the main goal here is to build trust and credibility. And when it comes to writing emails and when it comes to just engaging with basically these prospects, you need to really make sure to follow this and showcase how you can build a trust with them, the rapport, and also be credible, to be as a credible professional in their eyes. So our key tasks based on this in B2B sales will be on one hand to focus on the pain. Just remember frustrations, user personas, frustrations, because prospects, if they feel pain, this is an emotional pain, right? That's I don't want this. So what will be the negative consequence if you don't do anything, if you don't address this issue, right? What will happen with your business if you don't get enough leads? You might need to close it, right? How would it feel? So this person will eventually have an emotional pain, right? They might lose the job, they might just end up their dream, building their own business and becoming a successful entrepreneur, whatever. So we are solving an emotional pain by building rapport and trust. This is the emotional element mainly, and credibility, because people, even if they are emotionally driven because of solving pain, they normally go and justify their decision by logic. So they also need to be credible professionals, that we are the ones who can solve their problems in the most effective way possible by giving them the highest return on investment for the investment. So this is our main task in B2B sales. So what can we do when it comes to writing cold emails? So this is an example when I was doing corporate innovation programs for Fortune 500 and Global 500 companies. This is just an example of the email that what I wrote that generated pretty good response rates to me, and we scheduled a lot of meetings. I just gave you a few maybe seconds, like half minute. Just please read it through and tell me, let me know like what you think and why do you think this email worked in that specific persona I was targeting, and what would be some of the key points that you would highlight from this email? If you guys have any ideas, anything that stood out. So Shimi said the first proper lookup on the person making a compliment. Okay. Just more like how you start the email, right? Anything else that maybe stood out from this email? Good subject. Why is the subject good? What makes a good subject line? First name and you, first name usually works, especially with the content after it's appealing to them. Yes, so it's also, we're gonna discuss this, but I personally think that personalization, using personalization in subject line works pretty much. Using first name, company name, for example, value proposition, the key benefit, even a question maybe. So these elements work pretty much. Any other things in the email that stood out, for example? Okay, let me help you. As Shimi also highlighted the first line, I think it's super important that you have to use a trigger element and personalization. So you need to research your prospect and write a hook. So when you also pitch your startup, you need to start with a hook, right? So this will increase the attention rate of the person and makes them to keep reading. And that's why you have to come up with something. So I saw that this person was working in the innovation space, specifically in healthcare innovation. So I was like praising him for his work. So yes, it's a trigger or personalization. Maybe you read an article that the person wrote, or maybe a post, or maybe you saw them speaking at a conference. You read their book. I don't know. You just came across one of their, I don't know, whatever, right? Online, just or maybe one of their colleagues recommended that they should talk. So use a trigger, something personalization element here. The second thing that I was doing in the email is the offer, or discussing a bit more about the benefits, or basically your offer. So why I reached out to them and how we could possibly create value, right? That what can we do in innovation space? We can bring them startups in the healthcare space. And as a consequence of that, they can integrate the best ideas in order to get further value to their products and increase customer engagement, right? So this is the target or the goal of the persona, right? This is what I want to achieve in my job. What I'd also love adding to my email is, in order to increase credibility, is the traction element. And that's why, guys, I told you in the beginning that even when you're just starting and you're just looking to gain early traction, do some free work in the beginning to build your portfolio, to have some good names on board, because then after that you can communicate them. And showing here some good names, Bayer, NN Group, Allianz, etc., can really significantly increase the credibility of your business. And what I'm doing and how I'm amending the email is actually pretty different than what most salespeople do, because what most salespeople do is that they just ask a call to action that, do you have 20 minutes just to have an introductory call? I don't even know that this prospect is actually qualified for what I'm offering, and I'm also pretty busy, and I'm pretty sure that the prospect is also pretty busy. So I'm not quite sure that we should actually have a call, right? I need to understand first that where they are in the customer buying process. Do we actually have a problem here? Are they actually looking for startups? Are they actually collaborating with other like companies like us? I don't know, right? So that's why I normally ask a validation question in this case, do you think we can contribute to your open innovation programs? But you can also add that, are you guys looking for technology intensive companies? Or are you guys looking for collaborations in this space? Anything, a validation question that they can answer. These are normally yes or no questions. And what I'm also doing here is a soft call to action that I can send you an email showing 2 case studies on how we have buy on and connect with startups in health tech. Sending useful, valuable materials for free also helps the engagement. So they will most probably write back to you, hey, yeah, I want to receive more the case studies or the free materials or whatever. And then you start a conversation, right? Maybe also add them on LinkedIn, then they can check your LinkedIn profile. So you build your rapport and credibility with this prospect. So I don't want to schedule a call with them yet. I just want to get the validation that yes, they actually have a need, they are actually interested in a potential partnership or collaboration, or they have a challenge, whatever. I want them to answer the validation question because I want to pre-qualify them before I eventually schedule a call with them. I'm also busy and I don't want to waste my time with unnecessary meetings, right? So it's very important. So some of the great main elements in a great cold email, of course, this is not a blueprint, but you can take this into consideration. Always start with personalization and the trigger. I think it's very important. And now with ChatGPT and AI, it can help you actually to do it even more effectively than in the past. Then clearly indicate that via reaching out and how you will create value. So this is the offer element. You can even address a major objection up front, and how I'm closing it. I ask a validation question, and my first email, I basically ask for the interest and not for the time, right? I don't ask them to schedule a call, but more like, is it interesting for you? Do you have any challenges in this space? Because I can send you more information about what we've done, some case studies, maybe some reports, interesting statistics, whatever. This is another email. I'm also doing, besides iScale Hub and besides being a international business development strategist, I also help startups, specifically deep tech startups in Europe, to secure grants from the European Innovation Council Accelerator. And we at Startup basically we put together the proposals and help them to secure these grants. And I reach out to these companies specifically. And as you can also see here, it follows very similar patterns. I can start with trigger personalization. So as a startup, if you receive an email like, yeah, I saw your company on Crunchbase, and I believe it could be a great candidate for some funding programs. One of the biggest challenges that startups face is funding, right? Fundraising. They are lacking money. So of course, they will be interested in going further and reading my email further. And then I ask them, it's more like problem and solution. And I ask them that, I tell them that why I actually reached out to them. And I ask them whether they would be interested in looking at any possible hidden gaps or issues around their current or past fundraising efforts. And I then tell them the offer, solution, and traction. This is how we solve the problem. This is how much money we have raised so far for companies. So again, showing some traction element. And you can again ask the validation question if you want at the end, that are you guys raising funding at the moment? Are you guys interested in non-dilutive funding? Because I can send you maybe some case studies, some other stuff, or some useful information about how you can apply for the EIC Accelerator. So this is again another example of how you can incorporate these main things, these main elements in cold emailing. I'm just checking that what you guys wrote. Shimi, I see you are pretty active in the chat section. Yes, anyways, good to give them a super easy task to do. Like click here to book a call, send me yes, reply. Exactly. Yes, so do not ask for open-ended question in the beginning, right? That could you please describe your process? No one will reply this for a person that they don't know. So just yes or no questions, some very simple questions. Although I still think they are lazy to write an email back. So email back, yes, might increase the response rate. Yes, could also work. I will share some tips with you that how you can fine tune this emailing process. But here the idea is really A/B testing, right? What works for your specific persona? Because now what I'm discussing is my personal best practices that work with my personal solutions and with my own personas. But you need to also check your own ones and see what works, what don't work, basically. Okay. Also, some of my tips here. We discussed the pain point that sometimes we need to customize the emails and personalize the emails, but also when do we have to automate the emails? Well, my answer is that try to automate the emails as much as possible, of course, but if you have very specific cases, it's better to do it manually. I mean the outreach. Let me give you two examples here. For example, if we go to Michael's profile, CEO of Wolf Summit, I see that we have almost 140 mutual connections. If I want to get an introduction to Michael, maybe I can just ask Bill, Paul, and other friends on LinkedIn to make an introduction, right? According to statistics, 92% of consumers trust referrals from people they know, and B2B companies with referrals experience a 70% higher conversion rate. So it's better to ask someone basically than sending Michael an automated email, right? So it's much better. We will have a much better conversion rate. And another example is this one. I know that some of you here, you guys speak Hungarian. You're Hungarians, so you also see on the right side that what I wrote, it's in Hungarian. But for those who don't speak Hungarian, let me just translate it in English and give you a context as well. So when I was doing corporate innovation programs, I came across a profile of the global innovation manager of Fortune 500, the top 5 FMCG company. And I wrote the following, that, hey, I came across your profile on LinkedIn, and I saw that you also live in Barcelona, and you also work in the innovation ecosystem. I'd be happy to connect with you. I'm in the same space. I also live in Barcelona, and I used to work with one of your colleagues at this company in the past. Thank you, and regards, Tamás. And as you can see, like a couple of minutes later, she accepted my connection request, and she got back to me that, hey, Tamás, thank you for your message. What a coincidence. I'm actually in the process of moving to Tel Aviv, but I could offer you a virtual coffee. I'd be happy to hear about your experiences. So what is the takeaway here? If you really see, like, of course, if you research your prospects and you see that you have so many things in common, just show them all those things, right? That, hey, we live in the same city. We used to work in the same company. We have so many mutual connections on LinkedIn. I don't know, we work in the same ecosystem. I saw that you also attended the same event. People like connecting with people that have similar interests, right? Or that they have things in common. And as a result, we had this virtual coffee, and we managed to have basically this call, and she introduced me to 4 other operations of this company globally in Spain, Mexico, South Africa, and United Arab Emirates, with whom we had pretty much advanced conversations. Okay, so these are like 2 examples that when I actually don't automate my emails. But of course, in order to be really effective, you need to find ways to automate your emails. And now I'm going to show you a case with Overloop, with the premium version platform. This is a sales sequence. I put it together for Norway health tech startups, and you can see that I sent several emails, and there are these variables. So if you add all those contacts that you listed, the program can change the first name, for example. It can also change the organization name, and there are many other variables here. You can also use it in the subject line and on other parts of the email. You can also do some general setups here that you want the emails to be sent on from Monday to Friday, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Oslo time zone, even the time zones. So basically, whatever you are doing, the emails will be sent out. If you are sending out emails to South Korea, maybe you are still sleeping, but the emails are being sent out at that time. And why I specifically love using automation tools is because there's a great backend and you can see all the data behind that. Based on which we can make sales decisions about future campaigns, prospecting emails, etc. So you can see the conversion rates here. You see that I reached out to almost 990 people, 82% opened my email, 22 clicked, and basically 22 replied. So these are like pretty good results. And if you click here, you can actually check who are the people who opened your message, who clicked, who replied, etc. So if I click on people who opened my message, I just blur them here, but you can see that how many times people open my messages, how many times, who and how many times clicked, and who and how many times replied. So for example, this guy here opened my message 24 times, clicked on the links 3 times, so but didn't reply. So maybe what I'm gonna do here is either give them a call or reach out to them on LinkedIn, or maybe send them a more specific, more personalized email, right? Which is not automated but manual. So these are pretty good insights to see that how these prospects are reacting. Some other tips here. You also need to make sure to do segmentations, to have different batches of your email lists. Why? Because if you send out a unique email to 1,000 people, most probably they will end up in the spam folder and your email reputation will be ruined, right? So that's why the more you understand the personas, and we go back to stage 2, define the personas, have different batches, different persona types, and build up batches and email lists accordingly. Okay, and my recommendation is the following, because here you need to do the A/B testing, to do different personas, different emails, and see what works, what doesn't work. And my recommendation here is to test your hypothesis on a small number of prospects first. Let's say between 100 and 200 prospects. Okay, so one batch, let's say 150 prospects, and then if the reply rate is bigger than 15%, with approximately 5% being positive, so they are interested to engage further, interested in a meeting, whatever, then you can scale the number of prospects. Okay, then you can just focus on that specific campaign and add more prospects to it, because they will most probably reply to that, while you can just build down the other campaigns. But continue to test the campaigns, some other campaigns as well, to see that which one generates the biggest open rates, reply rates, etc. What about the subject line? Well, again, A/B testing. This is what you can do here. Personally, I mean, you can just read so many, like cold email subject lines on the internet out there. Personally, what really worked for me were the scenarios when I didn't act like a salesperson, right? I just kind of feel like that these emails are so salesy that if someone watches them, like sees them, it's, I don't know, immediately like sales resistance, right? And I just want to make it pretty simple. I can just maybe use the first name of the prospect, my name, and I can just communicate that funding to XY company. Or when we reached out to companies regarding a Taiwanese business trip, hey, funded business trip to Taiwan, or potential collaboration. This is pretty simple, but trust me, many prospects actually opens it, at least in my case. But of course, my recommendation is to test it as much as possible. Do A/B testing and see what works and what doesn't work. And eventually just trust the level of value that you are offering. I want to ask you that do not behave like a salesperson. Do not behave like you are selling, but you are simply facilitating the customer buying process, right? You know that the prospect has a challenge. They are in the stage of looking to solve this problem. They are looking for alternatives, including you, and you're just helping them in the whole process. You're not pushing the sales, but helping them to help them understand what the problem is, what could be the right solution to that problem, and you just position your solution your problem as a solution to those pain points. And because of this, I don't know how you are with that, but I don't like calling myself, I don't know, like sales guy or sales manager or business development manager or whatever, when it comes to communicating to clients. I do sales, right, every day, but I call myself innovation and funding growth partner when it comes to helping deep tech companies secure grants from the European Innovation Council, or innovation and business growth partner with my company iScale Hub. Or when it comes to working together with governments, attracting tech-intensive companies, I call myself investment promotion partner. I'm their partner, right? And not selling, pushing anything, but helping them out. And last but not least, one super important thing, since it's 2024, and well, GDPR is getting more and more strict in the European Union, please turn to a lawyer when it comes to starting doing sales prospecting in a larger scale, because it's really getting more and more serious and more strict. And I want to make sure that you guys are compliant with GDPR and privacy policy. First of all, we have email laws, right? As you can see it in the map, there are countries which are opt-out. So this is called single opt-out, which means that like UK, France, Sweden, Finland, Hungary as well, actually. You can send a message and more messages, but you have to make sure that you have an unsubscribed at the end of your email. If you use email automation tool, they immediately add an unsubscribe. If you send a manual email, be sure to add that, hey guys, you can just unsubscribe anytime. Just keep me posted if you don't want to receive any more emails, and I won't do it, and I also raise you from my list. There are also countries with single opt-in. You can just send one emails here. And that's why I do the validation question. Does it make sense for you? Do you guys have any issues in this space? Do you guys have any challenges? Do you think we can solve your problems? If they start engaging with you, then you can send more messages. This is the opt-in that, yes, okay, they show their interest, they become leads, and then you can interact with them. And double opt-in, these are the most kind of like dangerous countries when it comes to sales prospecting and marketing, Germany and Switzerland. It's not enough to send one email and then to receive a confirmation from them. But after they started engaging with you, you also have to send them like a confirmation email in which they do actually the opt-in. So they click on the link and they officially be on your list and on your database. This is very important. So again, if you really do sales prospecting on a larger scale, turn to a lawyer. We can also help with that with iScale Hub, but really just be sure that someone you reach out to they have a valid, legitimate interest, right, in the service or solution that you are offering, and be sure that you use also a physical address in your email, in the signature, for example. The sender must be clearly identified. Do not send emails with info at, but with a name like David at domain name, for example, and to be opt out, like unsubscribe at the end of your emails. All right, that was the end of the fourth stage. And again, I have a question to you guys. If the overall open rate of your email sequence is above 80% and the click rate is 5%, you will most probably have to refine your subject line, website content, or the email copy. What do you think? Shimi said C, email copy. Anyone else? C, Pauline? Yes, C? Yes. And why?
Well, the email subject line was already sufficient enough to get them to open up the email. The website content, obviously, they've only seen that if they ended up clicking the link. So it must be the content of the email, the text within it that's leading the issue here.
Exactly. So 80% open rate, I mean, we are pretty good. So they end up receiving actually the email and opening it. So the subject line is good, right? Website content, we don't know because it must be related to the click rate. And so the email copy, so the click rate. So we don't use enough call to actions, or maybe they don't find the link or something happens there, right? So yes, the email text itself. All right. Any questions so far, guys? We have the last stage. I'm just wondering if everything is clear so far, or you guys have any questions.
I would just like to ask you, Tamás, that please hurry up with the time, because it was like supposed to be a 1 hour, but I think
1.5, no? 1.5.
1 hour, only 1 hour.
Oh, I got 1.5. Sorry.
Oh, okay, sorry. I think everyone is really interested in the topic, so it's no worries, but you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we just have the last stage, but I can just make sure to go through it fast.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, if you guys, by the way, guys, if anyone needs to leave, just don't worry about that. I will also share the slides with you, plus you will get the recording. This is, if you just have like 5-10 minutes, I will just quickly go through this. This is the last stage to conclude the sales prospecting itself. So after we sent out the first email, let me give you some scary statistics to you. Because according to HubSpot, only 24% of sales emails are opened, 20% of prospects are followed up only, and 5 emails sent to prospect gives 1 reply. So you need to take this into consideration. What's more, according to statistics, those 90% of the prospects who actually opens and replies to your email, they do it on the same day. So if you don't receive a reply on the day when you send out the email, you most probably will never hear from the prospect. So what happens next? We need to make sure to send up follow-up emails here. I usually wait 2-3 days before I send the first follow-up. I don't want to overdo it. Maybe they are sick, they are busy, they are traveling, anything can happen. So that's why I want to make sure that they have enough time to receive and read my email. The study says that Tuesday and Thursday give the best results, especially between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., the recipient's time zone. And you should take into consideration the demographics, the previous engagement metrics, as you can see it in automation tool, time zones, and also the cultural differences. For example, in Dubai, the weekend is Friday and Saturday, but you can also send messages on Sunday because they already work on Sunday, for example. How many emails we need to send out? Well, my response here is it depends on the prospect. It depends on your persona. According to statistics, 80% of non-routine sales occur only after at least 5 follow-up emails. I think it could be a lot, right? That you send 6 emails in total together with the cold email, but it depends on the persona. So with iScale, we also reach out to embassies and governments. Do you think that we can send 5 or 6 emails to a government or an embassy? I mean, we can, but maybe it's not the best way to do sales prospecting here, right? So it really depends on the person. Try to understand them and really understand that what could be an ideal number of prospecting emails. And also the idea is that we want to give them more and more time to respond between these follow-ups. So this could be a good structure that you wait 3 days, then we follow up, then 4 days, 7 days, 14 days, 30 days, 30 days, and then once a month on, you close with a breakup email. What about the content? Here the idea is that you always need to provide value in your emails. It's very important. Don't just send them an email that, hey guys, I'm just checking if you received my email. Shall we have a call? It doesn't give any value to the prospect. So I always give value to them. It could be actually a valuable material. As I already stated in my first email, I can send them case studies, other valuable materials. You can also invite them for a webinar, share interesting blog articles with them, case studies, testimonials, success stories, right? So try to make sure that each and every email you use something really valuable that you can share with them. This is a email flow example with the startups that I approached regarding EU funding opportunities. As you see, 7 different emails, but each of these emails give value to the startups. So first, value addition, I gave them hint about the EIC impact report. Then I send them the impact report, more information about the European Innovation Council, then qualification criteria for the application, the process. Then I share a free crash course with them. then some success stories, testimonials. Then I was requesting connecting to the right person. Then I used the breakup email. This is an example of how I sent a follow-up email sharing some success stories with them and also some a testimonial of a recent case. Again, and I always end with a call to action, a question to trigger some sort of like response from them. And I normally end the email flow with a breakup email. And that actually works pretty well because I don't want to push sales, right? I don't want to look like a pushy salesperson, but more like I actually know that, hey guys, maybe it's not timely for you, maybe you don't have challenges, so I will just stop sending more emails. So you try to emphasize with them. And it actually works pretty much because I also got this message, hey, sorry, quite busy at the moment. It will be best to catch up in spring after Easter. In the meantime, please let me know your process. I don't know the budget, but I talked to the right decision maker. Seems like that they have a need, but the time was not right for them, so we could reconnect after Easter. So this email, that's why it could work pretty well in your sales process. So to sum up and to conclude and to really to see some ways to refine your follow-ups, again, test your subject lines, do A/B testing. Approximately 50% of sales emails are opened purely based on subject lines. Also send nuanced and specific information in your follow-ups. Don't send information that could be easily accessed on your website, but try to design brochures, case studies that are specifically to these sales prospecting activities. Try also to diversify your touches. Reach out to them on LinkedIn, WhatsApp, maybe send them a voice recording, try to call them. This will also increase engagement. Optimize also your emails for mobile phone. 55% of emails are opened on the mobile phone. So don't write long emails, but optimize it. And keep your call to action highly specific. Basically, instead of asking a question, what about meeting next week? Try to be specific and, hey, what about scheduling a call at 3 p.m. your time next Wednesday? I can send you a calendar invite. It works better and it also increases the response rate. So these are some fine-tunings that you can do. And my last question is, I hope you all remember how many emails, according to statistics, sent to a prospect give the best results for sales. What do you think? 5, 6, or 7? Jimmy said A, 5, including cold emails as well. Then C, why not B? 1 cold email and 5 follow-up emails, according to statistics, right? So it's 6. So the answer is B, but depends on the persona. I just want to make sure that you know the statistics, but then fine-tune it for your persona. All right, and that was it. That was just like a quick outline overview of how you can do a step-by-step way of doing sales prospecting effectively. If you guys have any questions, just feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn, via email, and happy to answer any of your questions. And we also continue with our next session on Wednesday. I have a session about networking and relationship management. So if you want to find ways how you can network in different events, conference, or also online, just join the session. It's at same time on Wednesday this week. So thank you again for your attention. If you have any questions, just let me know. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you very much for the speech. All this is great information.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Okay. So thank you, Tamás, and thank you for everyone for the active participation. Come on Wednesday. I think it will be just as good as this one. And also, if you have a startup, please check out our pitch competition that is also under this V4 program. you will get or find every information about it on the website. So it was nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for joining, guys. And again, if you have any questions, anything I can help you with, just reach out to me and we can discuss it further. Wishing you all the best in the program. And if you guys want to also join for the networking session, then see you on Wednesday.
Thank you. See you on Wednesday.
All right. Thank you. See you. Bye-bye.